Let's dive in and learn the comprehensive rules of Flesh and Blood by Legend Story Studios. This video begins our exploration of Chapter 1 of the CRD, simply titled General. Specifically, we'll be going over Section 0, Game Concepts. Like most games, FAB has so-called golden rules, allowing designers and tournament organizers to go beyond the limits of the rules as written. Section 0, Rule 1A states, if an effect directly contradicts a rule contained in the Comprehensive Rules document, the effect supersedes that rule. This rule is simple enough, but let's look at an example with young Shadow Runeblade hero, Chain. Heroes with the Shadow talent have been known for being able to interact with their banished zones. In this example, Chain has a couple of cards in his banished zone from his 2 Soul Shackle tokens. One of those cards, Ghostly Visit, has the following rules text. You may play Ghostly Visit from your banished zone. Ghostly Visit's effect supersedes Chapter 5, Section 1, Rule 1A, which says, a player can only play cards from their hand or arsenal zones. In this way, Ghostly Visit is embodying the golden rule that cards do what they say they do. The second golden rule is interesting for a few reasons. Let's read it first. If a tournament rule contradicts a rule contained in the Comprehensive Rules document, or in effect, the tournament rule supersedes that rule or that effect. I love that LSS places players and local game stores at such a high priority. If a particular hero or archetype is dominating your local meta, then the tournament organizers at your local LGS can ban them from specific tournament nights. This flexibility can allow new or budget players a competitive edge to better enjoy coming to the table to play the great game of Flesh and Blood. In my area, during Tales of Aria, local store banned Briar from some of their weekly events. Doing so allowed players to avoid defaulting to the best deck. That kind of adjustment is just a simple way to leverage this rule. TOs could also have tournaments with no legendaries, with whole sets rotated out, or adapted card abilities. Let's move on to Rule 2.0, which states, a rule or effect that states something cannot happen takes precedence over any rule and/or effect that states that something can happen. Let's return to our prior example with Chain playing Ghostly Visit from the Banished Zone. Performing that action is sanctioned under Rule 1.01a. However, if an effect like the conditional hit effect from Herald of Judgement is triggered, Rule 1.02 gives it precedence. In other words, a negative or restrictive effect supersedes a positive or authorizing effect. Section 0 wraps up with Rule 2a, which states, a rule or effect that states that only something can happen is functionally equivalent to a rule or effect that states everything else cannot happen. The example in the CRD involves the Ranger Power card, 3 of a kind, which allows the player to draw 3 cards with the following restriction. Until end of turn, you may only play cards from Arsenal. Through the lens of Rule 2a in Section 0, 3 of a kind also functionally implies, at least, that you may not play cards from your hand, you may not play cards from the Banished Zone, you may not play cards from your graveyard, and you may not play cards from any of your opponent's zones. I hope you found these initial rules as intuitive as they're meant to be. They set the foundation for an incredible experience at a table near you. Thank you so much for the view. Be sure to like, subscribe, and leave a comment if you found this video helpful. The next video in this playlist continues through Chapter 1 of FAB's CRD with Section 1.1, Players.